Hello, everybody. We're halfway through 2015. This is going to be a recap of all the different topics that we had an opportunity to discuss this past year. Thank everybody for joining me today. I want to share with you briefly a little bit about what happened to me last week. I had an opportunity to be a part of an outreach into the Dominican Republic, and there were 2,500 of us that left from all over the world. From Australia, I met people in South Africa and Canada, and 2,500 of us on 11 different airplanes landed in the Dominican Republic. And I was with an organization called Missions Me. I'd encourage you to go to the website nationoneday.com, and you can watch the various videos. I would encourage any of you that have a chiropractor that you would like to pass this information on to. They should join Missions Me and go to an outreach. I adjusted several hundred different individuals. It was a lot of fun. We made a huge impact on the whole nation, all 18 different states and or regions. On the final night, we were at a stadium. I was in Santo Domingo myself, and there was just literally thousands of individuals. And I also had an opportunity to adjust hundreds of people. And I think that what really was very significant for me was the fact that we literally saw miracles, miracle after miracle after miracle. We were able to see shoulders go up in the air that couldn't go up in the air forever. I had people that had low back pain that wouldn't go away, digestive distress. So what I want you to do, since we're just going to be rolling right now, is I'd like you to, if you would be so inclined, to say that you're here. Type in the word here, and we are going to be giving everybody a complimentary PDF of Dr. Bob's Guide to Optimal Health. And we're going to have one winner for a choice of bundles, but you must say here. If you have any questions, you must email to customer care. I'm sorry, you can type in your questions, but for the book, you must email to customercare@druglessdoctor.com and type in the subject free book. Now, I want to talk briefly about a variety of the topics that we discussed over the last 6 months. Can you believe half of the year is over? This is a recap. Now, recently I posted on one of my Insta tips that happened to show up on Natural News. I used my thermometer. Now, this thermometer goes back to 1978. And in 1978, I used a manual dipping system to develop films. And this is back in the day when people were exposed to radiation, and we had to increase the radiation because of the developing technique itself. So this is the thermometer that I used in the darkroom tank. Now, the whole purpose of this is just to show you that today they have smaller versions of this, or you can get a battery operated one. You're going to shake it down, and I want you to literally put your thermometer in your armpit when you first wake up in the morning. The temperature should be 97.8 or above. If the temperature is 97.8 or below, not that I'm going to tell you have a thyroid problem, but it's a body signal to me that your temperature is low. And what I'd encourage you to do, either through our office or through druglessdoctor.com, is we'd be wise to do what we call a TSH, a T3, a T4, and a TPO. And those particular tests are going to help me create a strategy for wellness. And probably one of the most common problems that we're seeing in our practice today are individuals that have subpar thyroid function. So let me give you the body signals for subpar thyroid function. Number one, cold hands and cold feet, wide spaced teeth, thinning hair, high cholesterol, constipation. Interesting one I'm going to share with you next. A headache that you wake up with that goes away as the day continues on. I'll say that again. People who have subpar thyroid usually wake up with a headache that goes away as the day goes on. You're going to have problems with depression. One of the leading causes of depression is subpar thyroid function. So it's cold hands and cold feet, wide spaced teeth, thinning hair, thinning eyebrows, thinning hair in your legs, high cholesterol, depression. A lot of people are taking cholesterol medication right now, and they probably have subpar thyroid function. For all of those of you that have recently joined me, if you would like to, send me a question, and I'd be happy to answer that for you. Also, we are giving away a free book tonight, PDF, Dr. Bob's Guide to Optimal Health. You must type free book to customercare@druglessdoctor.com. You must type in the word here if you'd like to be in the drawing to win one of the several bundles, okay? Some answers, common questions that people ask me. Will iodine help your thyroid? It just depends. Yes, most people need iodine to support the creation of T4, which is inactive thyroid. If you really want to know how much iodine your body needs, you may, I may suggest you may consider a urine iodine loading test, because I also have seen low iodine in individuals who have PCOS. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. I also see it in women who have cysts on their breast. What else can help your thyroid gland is a variety of nutrients, but you usually need oil. This is very important. Something called L-tyrosine. L-tyrosine and iodine come together and they create thyroid hormone. Now I'm going to share a little nugget with you. I've been studying something called the urine organic test, organics test. And I learned that vitiligo, or white spots on the skin, is actually caused by possibly not enough tyrosine. Should you stay on Synthroid? Well, I don't have a license to take anybody off of Synthroid, but I want you to know, in my experience, I've had a lot of people that have been able to go off of their thyroid medication. I'm going to say this in a very loving way because they've been working with their healthcare provider. They made appropriate, necessary lifestyle changes, but typically they also need to have a TSH, a T3, a T4, and a TPO. I'll say that again. A TSH, a T3, and a TPO. A lot of times people will have a normal T4, but it's not converting to T3. In Dr. Bob's Drugless Guide to Balancing Female Hormones, we go into great detail. I want to throw another little nugget on you because we're going to move on to another subject because time goes by very quickly. I have seen children have hypothyroid, and common body signals are growing pains and joint pain that moves around the body and fevers, because the thyroid gland has a lot to do with calcium metabolism in the body. So if you have a child or a grandchild that has growing pains, you may consider, you could do a finger stick instead of the full serum blood testing, so it's not as painful. So that was very significant. For those of you that have just joined me, you could send an email off to customercare@druglessdoctor.com. We're going to be giving away a free PDF today. I also like you to type in the word here. This way we'll put you in the drawing for a bundle of their choice. No meds topics, which includes thyroid, heart, men's health, but you must type here. Move on to another subject. I know right now The #1 killer in the world happens to be heart disease. Now, without being silly, one of the leading causes of heart disease is inflammation. It's not steak. It's not cheese and ice cream. It's not taking a statin drug. Cholesterol is a response to inflammation in the body. I'm going to share a little secret with you. Your left neck, which is here, is where your pancreas originates. So your pancreas embryologically starts on the left side and it moves to your abdomen. So many years ago, I was having individuals come into the office. They're having chronic left neck and mid-back pain. So what was happening is they were coming in the office on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and leaving, and were very happy when they came in the next day. But those that left on Friday came back on Monday and were in pain, and they were blaming their care at the office. So I was really investigating and found out from my experience through embryological studies that the pancreas starts here embryologically, but it moves to the abdomen, or right, that upper part of by your stomach area. But here's what I learned. Now this is used for some of you. The pancreas, when it's overworked, it's kind of like the gentleman that are listening to me right now. If you have a motor that's overheated, what does the motor do? It sends a signal back to the circuit breaker and it shuts it off. Now listen to this. If your pancreas is overworked because of eating sugar or eating donuts, what's going to happen is it's going to literally short circuit itself, send a message back to your upper back, which is right here, cause the vertebra in your upper back to go out of alignment. The same vertebra that impact the nerves that go to your heart. Do you hear what I just said? Now, I've been practicing since 1978. I've been involved in drugless care since 1974. And I want you to know, if you have misalignment up here in your spine from eating sugar, sugar causes inflammation, but that same pancreas, it's called a visceral somatic subluxation. That means the visceral of your heart is causing misalignment here, just as an overheated motor causes a circuit breaker to go off. That's really important. So one of the leading causes of heart disease literally can be a cookie. It's not a cookie, but it's over time. But I want you to fathom what's happening. And people are watching me from all over the world right now, and we're having people visit us from all over the world. If you have a history of heart disease, you may consider an essential fatty acid blood spot test, but you may consider coming to see us because we have a video x-ray machine. We can find out where the misalignment is in your spine, and we have people that'll visit us for regular care, or we could find a skilled healthcare provider in your area. Now, one of the common challenges that causes the heart to wear out is high blood pressure. When I was in Santo Domingo recently on the extended missions trip of nearly 10 days, 95% of the people had high blood pressure. And there's a term that you may have heard before. It's called a food desert. And these people live in a food desert down there in the Dominican. It's a lush area, but most of the food they eat is processed. They don't have living food. The #1 food item to help prevent high blood pressure is anything green. Chlorophyll, magnesium is important to lower your blood pressure. Kale, asparagus, anything green will lower your blood pressure. So what are ways to prevent a heart attack? Well, I would have an essential fatty acid blood spot test done, and you want to look at your EPA level, and it has to be normal because your EPA level is going to tell me how the blood flow or how the oil flow is working in your body. You do not want thick, stagnant, deficient oil in your body. So I would not, I'm telling you, don't want trans fat at all. People are finally figuring that out. And I would be aware of the source of the oil you're getting, because I know a lot of you may consider going to big box stores and you're getting oil that might not necessarily be helping your body out, okay? So I gave you 2 important nuggets. Misalignment in your spine can affect your heart. I'm sure some of you have never heard of that before. We talk about that in Dr. Bob's Men's Health, the basics. And also I want you to know that You can have subpar thyroid function that is a result of not enough iodine, and you decrease your iodine because of not having a shower dechlorinator. For those of you that just joined me, you can go to you can send us an email to customercare@druglessdoctor.com. You'll be eligible to win, or you will receive a PDF of Dr. Bob's Guide to Optimal Health. And if you'd like to type us a question, just type us a question. I'd be happy to answer that. And you must put in the word "here," and we'll be very happy to put you in the drawing to win one of our bundles from the last several months. Let's talk about gluten for a moment, okay? So this happens to be a loaf of bread. Now, bread itself, gluten, because I read a lot of different recent articles. Gluten is in like these little pink death balls, okay? Gluten creates a lot of distress for various reasons. What gluten does to you is there's little villi in your intestine. Gluten literally will stick these villi together so your body's not able to absorb nutrients. We have a tool in our practice called the acoustic cardiogram. Now, the acoustic cardiogram takes the lub-dub noise. So your heart goes lub, quiet, dub, lub, dub. That's caused by valves closing. So when the valves close, we hear the lub noise, okay? When the valve closes, we hear the lub noise. What people don't understand is muscles cause that valve to close. Muscles in your heart need B vitamins. If you don't have enough B vitamins, your heart valve is not going to snap and close. So with the acoustic cardiogram, if we see a real wide heart sound, I know your body needs B vitamins. We have individuals that are coming to our practice right now that have a condition called mitral regurgitation, where the valve is not closed tight and there's a little bit of blood flow that comes out. That can become and cause distress. So gluten, which glues the little villi in your intestines together, is a problem. So gluten could be a part of some of you chronic allergies, because gluten is a protein which is a foreign invader. Gluten can cause inflammation in the body. What I'd encourage you to do is what we call a squeeze the wrist test. You can look at my wrist and you squeeze it, you should have bone there. A lot of you don't have bone, you have fluid. And when you have fluid, that's due to water retention, and that water retention can affect your blood pressure. So if you have chronic allergies, if you have chronic joint pain, you want to get off of gluten. Let's talk about irritable bowel. Irritable bowel can be caused by a lot of different challenges. I usually find gluten to be number one, followed by dairy products. They create digestive distress. I also have seen in my practice individuals who grind their teeth at night, who have a cat, who eat sushi or wild game, tend to have parasites. Parasites are epidemic right now. And I'm going to tell you, if you have a chronic health problem that's just not going away, contact us. We can send you a lab request to have what we call an eosinophil test. If your eosinophils are elevated, it is possible that you could have a parasite issue. You may consider a stool sample to determine the exact type of parasites you may have. Chronic digestive distress. Number one, dairy. Number two, gluten. Number three is peanut butter. And there is gluten a lot of places. You just need to become more aware of what you're putting in and out of, in and on your body. Please send us some questions. For any of you that just joined, we're going to be giving away a free PDF, Dr. Bob's Guide to Optimal Health, but you must email customercare@druglessdoctor.com, and then also type in the word "here," and you have the possibility of winning one of the several bundles that we have made available. So we're in the June-July review right now of the year. I'm going to talk to you about MS. MS is very common. There's a hormone in the body called progesterone. Progesterone is made by your ovaries, and it's also made by your adrenal glands. I have noticed myself that progesterone is low someone has a greater possibility to potentially have MS. We also see MS in individuals that have low essential fatty acids in their body. We've had practice members that have MS for years and years and years be managed properly by adding the right oil in their body. I've also seen MS improve by adding vitamin D. I'd encourage all of you listening to me right now, have your vitamin D tested at least once a year, once every 2 years, vitamin D3. If your vitamin D is less than 30, I happen to use a one that's a dropper that goes directly to your tongue and it bypasses digestion. If you're taking a capsule, we stopped selling the capsules in our practice. Not that we don't want people to take the capsule, but we really would like people to do the oral vitamin D. Sharon Castillo, you need to email customer care at Drugless Doctor and tell our team which bundle you would like. It's a thyroid, heart, IBS, blood pressure, but we will definitely send you some select products. So contact us, Sharon Castillo at customercare@druglessdoctor.com, and congratulations. I want to talk about men's health. Men, this is going to be really important. This is broccoli. Broccoli is a food that helps lower estrogen in your body. All men should eat broccoli and or cabbage or cauliflower on a regular basis, but especially broccoli. Broccoli helps lower estrogen. Estrogen is the nemesis to men. The reason that estrogen is the nemesis is that men don't have an active pathway to really actively get rid of all the estrogen. And men, you do not want to have an enlarged prostate gland because you don't want them to rotor-root your prostate. Now, organic lawn. Where we live here in Northern Ohio, there are many companies that are putting organic lawn applications. Big business. You say, what are you telling me, Dr. Bob? I am telling you right now, I would stop immediately all traditional chemical lawn applications. Now, you might want to walk in the yard once or twice, but over time, 10, 15, 20 years, walking on the golf course, and I don't want you to take this wrong, but I'm just trying to share with you, when you're exposed to toxic chemicals, regardless who you are, your body has to process them. And if you have your hand in a cookie jar, and if you're drinking alcohol, and if you're using medications, and if you're putting a lot of chemical applications on your body, your liver has to manage that. And if you start noticing skin lesions on your head and your face and your body, you know, I have individuals, and I'm always looking at people, and I'm seeing people that have marks all over their face and on their body. That's not healthy. A lot of people joke and say they're liver spots or age spots. Those are body signals to me that you're toxic, okay? And I'm going to tell you, in the future, people are going to go golfing at organic golf courses. I'm just saying, okay? So men, eat your broccoli. No whining or complaining. Now, through this whole liver gallbladder, I want to explain this to you. In my hand is the liver. I want you to think of the oil filter as the liver in your body. So this has to do with heart health, men's health, irritable bowel, everything. What I'm going to share with you right now is some of the most important information on the planet, and a lot of people have never heard of this before. So your liver makes bile. Bile is like this dish detergent in my hand. Your liver makes bile. This bottle is analogous to your gallbladder. Your gallbladder is below your liver. When you eat something fatty, your body squeezes the gallbladder to release bile. Bile emulsifies fat. Important. Now, for example, let's say that you are making some organic chicken and you're using your hands. And you go to wash your hands. You put your hands under water. You can wash your hands all day long, but there'll still be a layer of fat. So you'll get your favorite organic dish detergent, put a drop on your hand, and it emulsifies the fat. It takes it away. in the body, if they take your gallbladder out, they're taking your soap out. What I have learned from my experience is that people who have the gallbladder out in 3 to 5 years have a greater chance to have heart disease. Why? Because they took your dish detergent out. That's really important. I have seen in my practice that individuals, when I look at their spine, it's amazing what we have learned in the nearly 40 years. And that's why we write books for them. So I'm going to share another nugget. There's a lot of nuggets. You're going to want to pass this on because I'm giving you some secrets right now that people don't know. So around 1994, I was having people come into my practice. They were having little clips on their right abdomen on their x-ray. And before that, they used to sew gallbladders up. But in 94, they started putting little clips on them. But I started to notice that that area where the clips were at, those vertebrae were twisted to the left. So I started to think, what is going on here? Was it chicken first or the egg first? But if L1 and L2 are twisted to the left and the gallbladder has been removed, could there be a structural problem? So if you get your gallbladder out, you want to find a skilled chiropractor in your area. If you live in Northern Ohio, you come and see us. Because if your vertebrae are twisted left and you still have your gallbladder, first you want to start doing Dr. Bob's ABCs, a half a red apple every day, a third cup of beet fiber, and a medium carrot. Why? You want to get that liver gallbladder mechanism clear. That half an apple every day is really important. You see, if they take your gallbladder out, you're going to have a greater chance to have heart disease. They take 500,000 gallbladders out every year, $40,000. When I was recently in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, I mean, I saw hundreds of people. Unbelievable what we saw. Everybody had high blood pressure. Most of them were overweight. But guess what? They all had their gallbladders. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I don't know what it's still, unless they're not making any money getting the gallbladders out. But there is something going on here in America that people are getting their gallbladders out. If you get your gallbladder out, you have a greater chance not only to have heart disease, but we've seen from our experience, you have a greater chance potentially to have cancer. So what's happening is I used to be able to see the wires on the heart x-ray, but they're not doing open heart surgeries like that anymore. They're doing stents. So that happened a lot in the 1990s. So we have a little bit of time left. If you haven't already, type the word, go and type in the word customercare@druglessdoctor.com and write in free book so we can send you Dr. Bob's Guide to Optimal Health. Now, we're going to continue on with this series through the rest of the year. There's a lot of information we want to pass on to you. I'm going to encourage you, if you haven't already, go to Facebook, go to Dr. Bob the Drugless Doctor. We're constantly posting information. I want you to go to naturalnews.tv, www.naturalnews.tv, and look at the videos that I'm posting. Right now, I just finished coming back from an outreach mission trip to the Dominican Republic. Saw literally hundreds and hundreds of miracles last week. I was the only chiropractor there. There are 6 medical professionals there. And after they did their triage and asking people questions, they only had one thing they could do for those people. Send them to the pharmacy and get ibuprofen. Middle of the week, they started sending everybody to me because we are seeing adjustments giving these people the relief they need. If you're watching me right now and you've not been to our office, you haven't been to a skilled healthcare provider in your area, it is time, because this is serious, serious business. So let me recap this a little bit for you. If you have cold hands and cold feet, you want to have your thyroid checked. TSH, T3, T4. If you would like to, we have a tool in our office called an acoustic cardiogram. Come on in. Come on. We have people spend a whole week in Ohio, and we are able to sit down and evaluate and make a plan, a strategy for optimal wellness. I'm going to tell you right now, you want to get off bread. Get off bread for a month and just see how your body feels. I'm not telling you never to eat it again. Just see how your body feels without gluten. Gluten and dairy are the leading causes of IBS. MS, you want to be taking some vitamin D. You want to be getting some good oil. Men, right now, I want you to make sure that you're adding broccoli to your life. And if you have chronic allergies, a chronic allergy problem happens to be a digestive issue. Stay away from donuts. Make sure you're eating your half a red apple every day. Half an apple, preferably red, not green. Third cup of beet fiber, and then medium carrot. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, and that'll make a huge difference in your life. We appreciate everybody. Pass this information on. We enjoy making a difference in your life, and enjoy the rest of your summertime. This is Dr. Bob DeMaria signing off.